Hello and welcome to everyone. Today, our guest is MMA fighter Brett Martin, who is just fresh of his win. So, Brett, what can you say in general, like 3, 4 sentences about yourself, your achievements, your career? Then we'll proceed with the question by question. And thank you so much for accepting the interview invitation. Please proceed.
Uh, heavyweight. From a small gym in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So, that's basically it.
When did you start training MMA, and which was your first martial art?
I started fighting in 2015, and I got into martial arts just based off one of my friends used to fight, and I used to go to the shows and watch him fight when I was a college wrestler. So I knew at some point in time I'd end up in the cage.
Do you have a nickname, and can you please elaborate your nickname if you do have one?
Big Dog.
What is the background behind the nickname? How did you get the nickname?
In college, I had a buddy that was also a heavyweight, and he was making me a Twitter, and he was like, "I'm gonna make your Twitter hand Big Dog." So ever since then, it ended up being like my Instagram handle. So and all my buddies started calling me, so it kind of just stuck after that.
How would you describe your fighting style in your own words?
I'd say it has changed over time, but I was originally just a wrestler, and then through my amateur career to probably towards the mid part of my early professional career, I started getting a little bit more striking in some Muay Thai, and now I got a lot more of a jiu-jitsu background with my grappling, so basically now just a freestyle fighter. I used to just be a grappler, but I feel like now I've shown I can, I try to do it all.
You said you're coming of a small gym. Who are your training partners and coaches?
The coaches, Chad Pomeroy is our main jiu-jitsu coach. He's our jiu-jitsu coach, and then our striking is Johnny Gregoire, and we also have a no-gi coach, Justin Andrews, Jesse Sheff, another coach. There are jiu-jitsu coaches in Black Lion, awesome gym. And then, my main training partner, the guy I get the most work in, is Jamal Hill, who, fights in the UFC. He's ranked, I think, 15th or 14th. Absolute monster, man. And, we're always getting good work in with each other. And I think, to me, I'm just blessed to have the guy, in my hometown. I didn't really have, not my hometown, but where I live now and, where I call home now. So I didn't have to go far to find Jamal.
Well, that is outstanding. Actually, when Jamal fought Darko Stosic, many people thought that Jamal was going to lose that match. But in the first place, when I've seen Jamal, I said this guy has very, very strong reach advantage, and that's going to be too much. And it really was too much.
Yeah. No, he's I think a lot of people underestimate him, and he's a lot bigger in person than he is on TV. He doesn't look real jacked, you know what I mean? But he's 6'4", and he's a big 6'4". He's got really wide shoulders, super long reach, you know what I mean? And he's always game to bang, on the feet or try to grapple. And I feel like a lot of people will learn that about him later on in his career, when he actually gets deep into fights where guys are actually competing with him. Because as of recent, man, he's just been putting it on people. So you haven't even really got to see, what his other type of game is. You just see him as a striker right now.
Well, yeah, Stosic's corner, because I know them. I'm from the same state. I mean, I just live in the same state. And his corner, they said like, oh, just drag him to the ground, you're gonna win. But it's almost impossible to drag Jamal to the ground. I don't know how.
Yeah, you can get him there, man. But he's so hard to hold on to when once he's down. Because he's got super long reach, and he doesn't just lay there. He's got that intent to get up, and that was what was so beautiful about me coming into his camp is, I'm a very high level grappler. I was an All-American, in college, and I was a state champ in high school as well. So. My grappling is as good as any heavyweights in the world. You know what I mean? So if he's got a guy that's 200 or 300 pounds, is what I just weighed in at, this last fight, a little doozy for myself and for the rest of the world that asked me questions about why I complain about making 265 when people don't, follow the rules. But, Jamal's got a big guy in his camp, and I'm not your average heavyweight. I move really well. I'm super good on the ground. I have a lot of good, submissions, and I've got submission wins over guys that are in the UFC at my weight class. So, Jamal's just as lucky to have me, I feel, as I am to have him.
Yeah, that is outstanding. A great example of symbiosis between MMA fighters. I back that up all day long. That's a very great story. Do you have a favorite strike and a favorite submission?
I'd say my favorite strike is probably a head kick, front side head kick. So my lead leg. It'll come one day. That or a right hand. I always like right hands. And then probably a Kimura or Americana, any kind of arm manipulation. Those are probably my favorites.
You're fighting for a very much long period of time. Do you remember your first amateur fight? How did it look?
I fought a guy that was actually from my high school. I went to train with a buddy before one of his fights, right after I quit wrestling, and a guy seen me training with him and must have thought I was, wanting to fight. So he commented on the post saying, "Oh, I beat Brett up." So obviously the promoter's like, "Well, would you fight him in 3 weeks?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I took the fight and I beat him up, real bad. I think it was like a 40-second fight. I punched him a bunch of times. He turned away from me and I, got his back, picked him all up and dumped him on his dome piece. The crowd was going wild, so I think that's why I had the love for it right away, is just because my debut was such a beautiful thing for myself.
Who was the toughest amateur opponent for you?
Joey Consdorf. I don't want to say he was the toughest based upon a lot, but, he was the only guy to beat me and he knocked me out real fast. Right early in my career where I really wasn't taking it serious. And I don't want to say like a bad knockout. It was like like he clipped me and I fell down and was trying to stand back up, but the ref called it because it was an amateur fight. You know what I mean? So, but it was like a 7-second fight. Before I had any kind of like idea what MMA was, I was just a wrestler that, turned right into MMA like a month after I quit college wrestling. So, I didn't get any kind of real striking training until I was a professional. So I was 7-1 as an amateur.
So in amateur, as soon as you go down, rules are stricter, or what is the difference?
Here back then there was no sanction, so I didn't have to like do any blood work or nothing like that when I was an amateur. And then towards the end of my amateur career, they changed the rules, and they said that we had to get CAT scans and all that. And I was already ranked number 1 at super heavyweight and heavyweight. So they had my promoter that I fought for at the time was like, "You might as well just go professional now, so you don't have to pay to fight. They pay you to fight." So then that was what the transition was.
What can you say about your professional debut? How did it go?
I was supposed to fight a guy at heavyweight. They canceled, and he backed out. I don't know. It was like 2 weeks before the fight. Seems that happens a lot in my career. Is what it is. But, a guy backed out. Another guy from Grand Rapids that I knew took the fight. Big dude. They told me he weighed like 300 pounds. So I had to take the fight at super heavyweight. I think I weighed in like 272. He showed up. He was 330. So like, it was hilarious. I don't care. I'll fight whoever. I've said that since, I first started fighting. I took fights with guys that have been fighting for 3-4 years when I, was fighting 2 months. So like, I don't care. I enjoy the competition and I enjoy learning about myself. So yeah, I took a fight with him. He clipped me early on in the fight and I kind of fell down and jumped back up and took him down and then finished him on the ground early in the first, so showed that I got a chin and, even after you rock me, I'm still going to keep moving forward and try to finish you. So it was fun. Same thing as my amateur debut. It was all good. Most of my fights have went that way. They're all pretty fun. Win, lose, or draw. Or DQ, I should say.
Yeah, but your second fight was kind of, well, let's say odd. Your second professional fight was, well, at least it was a bit odd. So what happened in that fight?
Corey Pena is his name. I was beating him up real bad. I had taken him down and was battering him from behind. And instead of just dropping in a rear naked choke, like any average person would, I was trying to be a little bit more ruthless. So I kind of let him stand up, and then he had turned onto the cage, and I thought he was going to stand up, so I had tried to knee him. And as he was standing up, he had dropped back down, so the knee hit his face and his chest at the same, when he was down. So they called it an unintentional illegal blow to a downed opponent. So he had 5 minutes to see if he wanted to continue or not. But I mean, dude, his eye was already all swelled up. His nose was all blown apart. You know what I mean? I had already battered this dude for almost a minute and a half straight of the round. So, you know, he obviously said he didn't want to continue, so they called it a no contest.
Yeah, but your third fight was kind of pretty much easy, right? For
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I walked right through, who was my third fight?
Was it like Derek Weaver, right?
Yeah. Oh, Derek Weaver. Yep, I was right. Yeah, and Derek was a tough guy, you know, and I think he was highly like known in the area for taking tough fights, and he hadn't beat a lot of people, but you know he's fought a lot of tough guys. So I just went in there and showed how dominant I am on the ground. You know, I mean, I split him up real bad, had him bleeding, and then I subbed him. So, you know, good fight though.
Your only loss came to Leroy Johnson, right? So,
Yep.
what do you think about? Okay, every fighter has a loss. I mean, it's not a big deal. But for you, what was the greatest challenge from that fight?
I think I just didn't prepare properly. Um, you know, I was young, took a tough fight right after I had a tough injury, and I did some things, you know, a little earlier than I think I should have. And, you know, no excuses, like I've said on many interviews before about, you know, losing to Leroy Johnson. He just showed up and, you know, he out wrestled me, which is, you know, what my game is. You know, so this weekend I had a fight with another guy that was a state champ and a high-level collegiate wrestler as well, and I showed that I can control it. So, I mean, that was a big win for me in just that, because the only other high-level wrestler I fought, you know, I lost to in a 5-round title fight. It was my first title fight. You know, I was undefeated. I think I bit off a little more than I could chew on, you know, like a little bit of a short notice because the promotion I fought for disappeared. So, you know, I just signed a fight and showed up, and, you know, he was the better man that night. But, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, I think it's his 6th straight since then now, and I've taken some tough fights, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much good to hear. Thank you for sharing this detail. You mentioned that you defeated UFC names, so can you please explain how did you finish Parisyan with Kimura? I mean, finishing UFC fighter with a Kimura is a pretty much at least hard task to complete.
Well, yeah, it's not like I just swung a lucky punch and hit him on his chin. You know what I mean? That's why when people get to talking about how I look or how I fight, I just giggle. You know what I mean? Because all 10 of my wins are different stylistic opponents and different stylistic builds. So, I mean, you can say what you want, but I get the damn job done regardless. So, yeah, Josh is from Michigan. I'm from Michigan. So, obviously, there's going to be some talk there regardless. He had called me out early in my career and then not took the fight. So, of course, I called him. I think I might have went on live and said something about him. So he's always had a little like this hate towards me because, you know, I'm quick to call people out. I'm as real as they come. So if you say you want to fight, sign the fucking dotted line and let's get it done. You know what I mean? Why wait till he waited until I was 6-1 or something like that, and he watched me fight live. And I think when he watched me fight live, he thought, oh, I can beat him, which everybody does that at the show. When you watch people fight at the show, you always think you can win and you're so much better, you know, just like any other casual fan. But once you're locked in the cage with me, which was after I beat Ryan Perkrivka, he was at that fight, which, you know, one of his losses was Ryan Perkrivka. So why the hell he would take a fight with me after he lost to Ryan, you know, after coming off the Ultimate Fighter, losing to a wrestler? I think it was crazy he even took the fight with me. But he took it, and I took it in my hometown where I fight with my promotion, and it was for a belt. So, you know, he got the best big dog you're going to ever get because, you know, you're not going to come into my hometown in front of my people and do me like that. So, yeah, I took him down. He left his arm hanging right out right away, and, you know, I got it behind his head, and once it's there, I'm a big dude, so I'm going to finish the fight.
How did you defeat Renan Ferreira?
Ferreira, man, I want that fight back. You know what I mean? It was a DQ win against LFA, you know, and I feel like some of the videos that are on YouTube don't show the whole capacity of the fight. I took like 12 illegal elbows and like 6 or 7 illegal strikes before the ref stopped it the first time and took 2 points. So after he took the 2 points, I obviously continued because that's the type of person I am. I'm not trying to get easy wins or an easy way to the top. I take the hardest route, and I'm not going to win off of you making an unprofessional mistake. You know what I mean? So then I continued, and we got back to fighting, and I'd say it was like 2 minutes later, he started striking to the back of my head. The strikes didn't affect me. You know what I mean? And the ref just called the match again and you know, DQ'd him for illegal strikes. You know, I don't know if it was a language barrier or if he's a dirty fucker, but, We've seen what he just did to Fabricio Werdum. So I don't really care. Like I said, I wouldn't mind running that fight back either. I don't care how big or how bad they say he is.
Yeah, but also, I don't know, it's a European promotion. The referee, for example, warned a fighter from Poland. It's Sylvester Miller. He warned him because he was holding the champ on the ground and he did this all the time. And the referee first time warns him, second time the referee brought translator because the guy is from Poland, and it was in England. He brought translator translates, then he abducts 1 point, then he abducts 2 points, and he keeps using head. And the referee says, fine, disqualification. And then
yeah, and that's kind of where I was at with it. You know what I mean? Even if they would have went another route with it, it is what it is, man. This is the fight game. But I never quit. I never told Rob Hines, like, hey, man, I don't want to fight anymore. Nope. And I stayed right in the fight the whole time. So I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm down to fight anybody over again, even win, lose, or draw. You want to fight? Like I say, sign the contract. I'm always down.
What was the game plan for your XFC fight that you just won?
To be honest, man, I was training to fight Chris Barnett. So I was actually training to get to show some striking and some different types of my stand-up that I've gained over the past year and a half. But Chris Barnett got the call to go to the next level. I don't know. We'll talk about that another day, I guess. But yeah, so then they signed Marino Eatman as his name. And dude, people made it seem like he was some bum off the street, but his only 4 losses are to guys in Bellator, guys that have been in the Contender Series, or guys ranked in the top 10 in the the heavyweight rankings in the nation. And then I think he's got a draw with a guy who's got a win on the Contender Series. So I mean, at the end of the day, he's fought some tough dudes. So the game plan was to go in there and win every aspect of the fight. I didn't get the finish like I would like to do, but he's a super tough guy, super big, and we did it at super heavyweight, which is even funner because there's more weight moving around in there, and I got to show that I'm not a small heavyweight. Yeah, I'm a little chunky, but I walk around 300, 310. I'm a big dude, and you can kiss my ass about a diet. Come meet me in the gym, and I'll do round after round around, doing circles around you, and then you can talk about a diet. But until then, nobody's ever going to be able to tell me, what I can and can't do with my fight career.
What is the secret behind your footwork?
Just many years of wrestling, man. And it's not even there yet. I was actually very disappointed with where my feet were in this fight, because I train with Jamal now, so I see how good Jamal moves. So, I get mad at myself if I don't make him feel like I was moving perfect. We're all critics of ourselves, to the fullest. So I just like to be as agile as I can be and as healthy as I can be. I don't think you'll ever see me come in 300 pounds again, but I don't want to say never.
Well, I'll tell you, as a big fan of KSW, that's a Poland promotion. I've never seen a super heavyweight who moves like you, so it's pretty much strange to me because in Poland they only tend to toe-to-toe fight, drag each other to the ground. But when you fight, you move a lot for a super heavyweight, which is I've never seen something like that. So that was the reason for the question.
Yeah. No, and I like to fight heavyweight. Obviously the dream is to be at the top of the heavyweight division because that's what's respected. But, I'm not going to shy away from taking super heavyweight fights when guys drop out of contracts or, at the end of the day, I work a full-time job and, I'm going to keep living my life how I want to live it, because I'm the one that's being professional. So if you want me to cut the heavyweight after somebody drops out of a contract, I like money. You know what I mean? So other than that, you either going to let me fight super heavyweight or you better up that contract. Otherwise, you're just going to have to pay me anyways because I'm not the one that dropped out of the contract. You know what I mean?
Considering you're riding on a pretty much great score, I mean 10-1 for MMA is a pretty much great score. Do you have some future plans? Do you have somebody in your sights locked in?
No, man. Anybody and everybody. I've never picked names out. I've never said this. I'm under contract with XFC, and I couldn't be happier. You know what I mean? F what people say about, you got to go to the top promotion in the world and all that. Like I said, like you said, I'm 10-1-1 as a professional heavyweight, man. It's unheard of. I'm 27 years old, just turned 27 years old. And I feel like I still don't get the respect I deserve from some of these other promotions. So XFC treated me, my family, Jamal, my coaches so well, man. The commentators, some people were upset. Some people were happy. I thought they did all right. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they were calling me a fat slob or nothing, or, I didn't get booed by the crowd or disrespected by the promotion for being a professional. So like I said, man, as long as people treat me good and I get that check after the fight that was promised, I'm happy. And as long as XFC keeps bringing me tough opponents, I'll fight heavyweight or super heavyweight, man. I don't care.
Yeah, that's awesome. Would you like to add something to this interview? Is there maybe something we forgot to say? Is there something we missed to say? Is there something you would like to announce, maybe? Would you like to greet someone?
Yeah, just obviously shout out to everybody that was at the XFC event for me and my teammates, my friends, all my people. I always like to add that in my interviews. And good luck to my teammate, Jamal Hill. If you're not doing anything June 12th, make sure to check out that UFC card. Him and Paul Craig go at it. We already know Sweet Dreams is going to take care of business and put on a show like he always does. Happy Memorial Day to all my vets and people serving our country out there.
Thank you so much for this interview. I will put it to creation now. Hope in a few hours it's gonna be. Maybe this evening or tomorrow morning, but I will let you know. I will message you.
Okay, yeah, no rush. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Thank you too, Brad. Have a great day.